Thank you, Lieutenant Fishback. As he mentioned, my name is Captain Brad Koch, K-O-C-H, currently the commander over the Central Division. And as you all know, last week we had a cyber attack our country did on the Colonial Pipeline, which provides a majority of the fuel to the city of Charlotte. And frankly, wanted to discuss how that affects two pieces. One, how it affects our operations, and two, how we as a community can come together during this unique time. Right now, frankly, it is not going to affect our operations. CMPD officers continue to respond to all 911 calls for service. We would ask you, though, if it is a non-emergency and you do have the opportunity to take a report or file a report online, that you do utilize that avenue, either by filing it online or calling 311, where you have a multitude of different types of reports that can be taken over the phone. However, if you do need police to respond, please call 911 and we will respond. We have utilized our retail partners and that our community members utilize to get their fuel. However, we do have, in extreme circumstances, if needed, there is a public safety reserve, emergency reserve, that we can tap if necessary. So bottom line, this is not going to affect the operations of the police department at all. Now, the second piece I want to discuss is how we as a community can come together during this unique and challenging time. A lot of people are very frustrated. There's been a lot of hoarding going on, a lot of very long lines. Couple pieces of advice. One, limit non-essential travel. If you do not have to come out and go out, please do not. Number two, check on your neighbors, your elderly neighbors that might not be able to get out. Just see if they need something. See if, when you're going out to the store, if you can pick something up. Do not hoard fuel. We are going to get through this, similar to whenever we have a severe weather and we seem to lose a lot of bread and milk at the stores. Similarly to last year at the beginning of the pandemic, when all the stores were out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I'm confident people still have a lot of hand sanitizer that they will not ever use. So do not hoard fuel. Treat each other with grace and courtesy and compassion and understanding, and know that we as a community are going to get through this fuel crisis. With that, I'll answer it up to, open it up to any sort of questions that you might have. Yes, ma'am.
How is CMPD protecting themselves from cyber attacks?
Well, that's not really my lane. I'm confident that our IT within the city of Charlotte, that similarly to other city governments that have experienced cyber attacks, I'm confident that we are fully ready for that.
What kinds of things should people call versus calling you guys for, file their own reports for?
There's a lot of nonviolent crimes can be reported online, and there's a whole host listing. If you go to cmpd.org, you can see the number of reports that can be taken online. Very similar to the start of the pandemic, when we encouraged people to utilize the online or the 311 system to avoid that face-to-face contact, as everybody was pretty hypersensitive to speaking with people in person. So a lot of our nonviolent property crimes can all be reported online. For example, like larceny from autos, which is a big proponent of our property crimes.
Are there any penalties for hoarding? That's one question. And then, how much is in you all's reserve?
Well, in terms of the specifics, in terms of what we have available to us, I don't have that answer. I don't think that that's honestly necessary or relevant. I think the fact that the bigger piece is that it will not affect, that this gas crisis will not affect the operations of the police department at all. In terms of hoarding, it's not illegal to hoard. It is illegal to price gouge, as the governor mentioned yesterday. Please feel free to continue to report that if you see that. But I think doing the just treating others with grace and courtesy and not taking advantage of situations, and if you have the opportunity here to do that.
But you all are utilizing the same gas station that us in this room are utilizing as well, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I believe it's like 71% of Charlotte is out of gas. So how will the department not be affected by that?
Well, because we're filling up our gas tanks. We're waiting in lines with people and, utilizing the same avenues that our citizens are utilizing, and which is why I encourage those to limit your non-essential travel, only go out if necessary, and know that there are people like your local law enforcement and fire department and medic, that it is vital that we have access to those fuel reserves.
Captain, have we had any incidents of gas rage, fuel pump rage, anything going on?
Gas rage, that's I don't believe so, not yet, but I can certainly see as the community continues to be concerned about where we are with the current status of our fuel, that can certainly be the case, which is why we encourage people to be gracious to each other and be patient if you're in those lines, and know that, simple things like not idling your car when you're sitting there, have the, just be very thoughtful and cognizant of where you are with your own fuel.
Question, if someone runs out of gas in the middle of the night or wherever, whenever, do they call you guys? Do you guys come? How do they maneuver that?
Listen, we always respond if you call 911. So regardless of what time it is, we are a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you can always call 911 and we will respond and assist. It might be a little difficult for us to find fuel, but you can always call if you feel the need, and we'll respond.
I have a question that's actually a different topic. I apologize unless someone else has another question first.
I don't know, is there any more fuel questions? No, I guess we're good. Go ahead. I'll try to answer it.
It's in particular to the Kentucky Avenue incident on Saturday morning. I spoke with a lot of the residents, and there are several questions. The community felt like they were sort of held over a barrel because while it was very understandable the necessity for CMP to be there, apparently the person they were seeking had left like within a short time frame of CMPD arriving, and then all the SWAT, and the incident lasted well over 6 hours. So they really sort of felt they were being held under a barrel. And several things occurred, and I was curious who made the decision to keep the unit and all the SWAT out there for such a long period of time, because they said it got louder and louder. And you got Spanish people, you got just all different elderly, and this started at 2 a.m. in the morning and went well over 8 a.m. And I have 2 more questions after that. So.
Well, I'll answer it, and maybe it's best to take your questions offline, but I will respond that we did try, that did not happen in my area, but I do know that one of our priorities is